I want to talk about how to tell what large investors own by looking at Warren Buffett's latest portfolio. Now, by law, very, very large investors must disclose what stocks they own every single quarter if they manage more than $100 million. And what we do is we look for what is called a Form 13F on sec.gov's website. And a big story recently has been that Warren Buffett sold most of his Wells Fargo position. And that's a big deal because he's owned Wells Fargo, ticker WFG, in size since 1989. So what we're going to do in a second is we're going to go together to sec.gov. And many investors use what I'm about to show you as part of their stock investment research process when deciding, which stocks to buy, as they want to copy the smart money. But I recommend doing your own research, which I teach in my courses in my MBA program. You are the smart money, not the big funds. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get the ticker on the fund. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Yahoo Finance to get the ticker for Warren Buffett's fund, which is called Berkshire Hathaway. And then we're going to look for the 13F documents to see what Warren Buffett owns. So let's go there together. So the first thing we do is we go to Yahoo Finance, okay? Then once we're at Yahoo Finance, what we do is we type in the name of the company to get the ticker. So in this case, it's Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, and so there's two Berkshires, there's A and B. A is the one that's a really high price, and the other one, the B, is a lower price, so that anybody can buy it, people that don't have as much money like me. The Berkshire A, right here, it's at $433,000, unbelievable. So what we do is we take this ticker, okay, then we go over to sec.gov. And then we select, and this is the United States Securities and Exchange Commission website. By law, if you have a lot of money and you sell your investments publicly, you have to list all financial documents here. It's great disclosure. So once here, we click on more search options. Then we enter in the ticker symbol here. I'm just going to paste Berkshire's ticker. A or B works. Then what you'll see here is a bunch of documents, and we want to look at what's called the 13F. Okay, and as you can see here, these are filed quarterly, okay, every 3 months by law. If you see the letter A beside one, it's because they made a mistake and they wanted to amend something, but it's quarterly. So the first thing I want to do is I want to click here to see what Warren Buffett disclosed on May 17th of 2021. So we click on documents, and it gets tricky, but you always want to click on the HTML document here, never an XML, because XML is just garbage code like this. So we click right here on HTML. And right here, these are all the stocks that Warren Buffett owns in his company's portfolio of Berkshire Hathaway. And so the most important thing to look at is the name of the company, like AXP Amex or Apple, AAPL, and then the value. So for example, he owns AbbVie, this company here. He owns $2.4 billion worth of this. Now, just for fun, let's do a search on Wells Fargo here, okay? Here it is. All right, so Wells Fargo right here, you could see Wells Fargo here. You could see that he owns only $26 million worth. And I say only because usually he owns billions and billions and billions of dollars worth. That's not much. He's unwinding his position. How do I know? I'll show you. I know because, and anybody knows, because you go back here to the 13F from the previous quarter, okay? And we'll go to see how much Wells Fargo he owns there. And you can do this for any mutual fund that has over $100 million in assets. Okay, so we'll click here. And then what I'll do is I'll search for Wells Fargo again. And we could see here that in the quarter before this one, he owned a ton more Wells Fargo. Okay, he had over $1 billion in it in one particular fund. He only has $26 million in total now in Wells Fargo as of the most recent filing. And so the bottom line is that he's actually getting out of that position. Now, when I used to work on Wall Street in the hedge fund industry, of course I did my own research. But if I saw a massive mutual fund starting to sell a massive position by looking at the 13Fs, It might make me look into maybe shorting the stock, meaning betting against that company's stock. So when you buy a stock, it's called a long. The opposite is called a short. And to be transparent, I want to show you what I used to look at, okay, the smart money I thought in the past. But no one's smarter than you. Always do your own research, please. So there's one mutual fund called Capital Group on the West Coast here that had the best software and internet investor back in 2005. And when he started accumulating a position in software company Oracle, ticker ORCL, which was disclosed in their 13F, then it was a signal from a supply and demand perspective that they were going to back up the truck and buy more. As the fund named Capital Group, they usually make very, very large concentrated positions. So that was a positive indicator from a supply and demand perspective for shares of Oracle. And it was fair game too, because it was publicly disclosed in the 13F. Now, the 13F process of finding out what funds own, it's not a perfect science. Because if somebody lies about what they own when they submit these 13F documents to the sec.gov, then garbage in and garbage out. And this is what happened in 2008 with a money manager criminal named Bernard Madoff. He lied about what he owned when he disclosed his 13Fs. And we should have known better though, because his name was Madoff. You know, because he made off. No? I'm sorry. That was the first dad humor today, okay? No more dad humor. Separately, by looking at or through the 13Fs, it doesn't show you options positions. And years ago, when I worked in the hedge fund industry, I didn't want the market to know what I was unwinding or when I was getting out of a big position. So what I did was I hedged it with a straddle, okay, which is another topic. And my complete options, futures, and derivatives course comes out later this year in 2021, which I hope that you enjoy.